Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Jen Sugarmeyer, your host of Mindset in the Morning, and we are here live 5 days a week at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. And because it's YouTube, you can tune in whenever you would like. And here on the show, we talk about all things mindset, and really we just normalize how does mindset play in our day-to-day lives. And we talk about things that are very relevant and easy to grasp, if I can even say it, so that as you go out into the world you can feel powerful because all of the magic that happens, all the magic in your life happens in the 6 inches between your ears. And when you understand how to control this, you can control everything in your life. And you are the only one that is responsible for your happiness, for your success, for your joy, for your peace. And it comes from these 6 inches. So here on the show, we exercise your mental muscle so that you are able to get everything that you want in life. It is real simple. It's all just mindset. The glass is half full and it is half empty. So we talk about those things here. And today we're going to be talking about values. Yesterday we spoke about what is your mission and vision statement. And today we're going to be talking about values and how you can apply those to your life. Because we know one of my favorite quotes that Zig Ziglar says is, if you aim at nothing, you hit your target every time. So we want to know where we're going. We want to know what is guiding our life. If we don't have anything guiding our life, then we are reinventing the wheel every single time. So we are going to launch into that today. But before we get started, if you would, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because that's going to help us grow this channel. And there is someone out there that needs to hear this message today, and you can help them by hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and you'll help the channel as well. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump on in. So we talked yesterday a bit about having a solid foundation in your life. It's like building a house in concrete versus building it on sand. You know, that old, like, what was it? The three little pigs. And it's also in the Bible. Like we knew growing up that, yeah, building your house on sand just isn't a good idea. And yet, how many of us, I will say, I built my house on sand. There were just a lot of things I didn't stop to think about. If I took the time to really think about them, then yeah, I could come up with some answers of what my values look like, what my mission was, what my, vision was. I don't know. The mission and vision were probably not as easy for me to come up with, but certainly values, I could have thought about some of them and come up with something. Yeah, no, I believe in honesty and integrity and some of these things, but I never really stopped to think about them. And so what happens when we don't have these things defined in our life is that we reinvent the wheel when new situations come into our life, because we're constantly going through this decision matrix in our life, and as things are happening, and this is all throughout your day, every single day, something happens, you respond, something happens, you respond, something happens, you respond, something happens, or you respond, and you do this throughout your entire day. It is nothing more than a yes no matrix all throughout your day. Yes, no, or go, stop, or whatever that may be. But there are constantly decisions. Should I respond? Should I not respond? Should I be nice with my response? Should I not be nice? Should I get angry at the situation? I mean, literally all you need to do is walk by a puddle and you can decide, should I get angry or should I not? When you walk outside, you can choose to enjoy the fresh air, or you can choose to say, oh my gosh, this is so cold, I'm miserable, I hate this. So constantly, no matter what you are doing, there are decisions that are happening, and our values are going to help us define how we respond in these situations. So the definition of a value, it's just what's important to you. So, and they guide your decision making process. So when you know what is important to you, then you are able to make decisions and not, I don't know, how should I respond? There's a lot of things that I know, because honesty is one of, my values, that if somebody wants me to come lie about something or, do something dishonest, The answer is no. I don't think about it. I don't know, would it benefit me? Is it going to hurt other people? Is it going to hurt people? No, I don't have to think about it. I know that the answer is no, because that's one of my values. So honesty for me. So now I know, because I have this defined in my life, I know that when situations arise, I know how to respond. So you actually end up saving time when you're able to define your values and apply them. When you become really, I'll use the word intimate with these values, when they become you, then you aren't wasting the time on, I don't know, should I steal that person's whatever? Oh, should I screw over the company? Should I, whatever that may be? I mean, the answer would be no if it didn't align with your value, right? So you end up saving yourself an incredible amount of time. And then these play into your boundaries and your standards. And these really are the foundation for everything, for all of the decisions and actions that are happening in your life. So it's important for us to define them. And they use them in companies, the mission, vision, value statement. And we talked about why we want to define our mission and our vision. And it's, well, just to recap, it's helpful for you to understand where you're going. I mean, there are times I think, what the heck am I doing? I just got all these things that are going on. And I go, oh, yeah, that's right. I want to impact 5 million lives in 5 years. Okay. And sometimes that helps to ground me, it helps to remind me. And I've also started using it in conversations with other people when people say, well, what do you do? Because I am all over all over the place with a lot of different things that I'm doing, between coaching and writing for a magazine and books and things like that. I'm on a mission to impact 5 million lives in 5 years. Now, I don't know totally when my ticker is going to start, and some how the heck am I going to quantify this? I'm not really to be really honest, I'm not sure all of these answers, but that is where I am. I just want to help people. I want to impact them. I want to change the world one thought at a time. So when I feel overwhelmed, or when I'm talking to somebody, it's easy for me to say, this is what my mission is. And my vision of how I'm going to do it, through writing, through speaking, through, the internet, through TV. I have a vision for how this is going to look. It is through these modalities. So that is my mission. That is my vision. And we hear those so often. We associate them mostly with corporate, but I challenged you yesterday to think about them for yourself and what that looks like. And the third thing that companies often say is, what is your mission, your vision, and your values? And so let's go through some of these values that you might hear in a corporate environment. All right, company values that you may hear: collaboration, customer commitment, diversity, honesty, humility. And by the way, just because these are for a company, they may resonate with you for your own personal ones as well. But I'm just going to go through some of these company ones. Innovation. I think that's become a really big one here for companies recently, because we have to be innovative in order to keep up with the Joneses, in order to stay on the bleeding edge, of technology. I mean, innovation really does. I think that needs to be in everyone. Trust, vulnerability, self-improvement. Oh my gosh. I wish everybody had self-improvement on theirs. It's funny, because my mom, she said, well, what are your top 3 values? And I was trying to pick which are the top 3. And it's really, it can be tough, because there's so many. I don't have self-improvement on mine, but self-improvement I do every day. So I feel like self-improvement should be on my list, but okay. Anyway, making a difference. Hello, that should be on my list too. Passion, persistence, the transparency, teamwork. Oh my gosh, so many good ones. So those are just a few from a company perspective of some that you may see, and you may be able to relate some of those to your own life. So how do we define how do you even start to think about what your values are? Well, I would encourage you to get a list like we just went through and start to look through them. And maybe it is trust, maybe it is honesty, maybe it is integrity, and just become familiar with what are the values that are out there. I mean, I literally, I just looked through that list and I'm like, I think, you know, personal development or self-help should be on mine and making a difference. I think, yeah, those are absolutely values that I uphold every single day. I don't think either of those made my list. Not, I don't think they didn't. But there's family and relationships and trust and integrity and honesty and faith. And there are so many that are out there. So I would encourage you, first and foremost, to become familiar with a list that's out there. You don't have to take everything that's on that list. You may say, that's good, but I wouldn't put it in my top 10. I wouldn't put it in my top 3, wherever it is, but just become familiar. So start to get your brain going. Secondly, I would think about past experiences. You've got decades worth of examples already to go through. How did honesty, how did that map up with some things while you were at work? Was that something that you thought about? How about integrity? What about trust? And what role did those play within your personal relationships? Maybe with your friends, with your significant other, whomever you were dating or you're married to, in the office, with your children, just with yourself. And start to map this list up against some of these past experiences that you've had and see where they align. So I would start there. I would also think about maybe who is somebody that you admire. Is there somebody, maybe it was a mentor that you had, maybe it was your mother, maybe it was your father, maybe it was somebody that took you under their wing or that you worked for in a company and you said, man, I really admire and I respect this person. Take a look at that list that you have and see where some of the traits, some of the values that are on this list align with that person that you admire. And then whichever ones you identify, maybe see which ones align with the ones that you chose. Maybe they're exactly the same. Maybe you'll see that you see that the whomever you admire has some qualities that you'd like to have. And that then becomes something that you want to work on. We've got to know where we are and where we want to go. Then we can bridge that gap. Say, okay, this is where I am. I see this is a goal of mine. And how am I going to get there? I'm sure there is someone that you can think of that you admire in this world. So I'd really encourage you to get quiet around that person and just think about those qualities. Again, pull up that list and just circle a few things, write them down on a piece of paper and say, wow, I admire so and so for these qualities. And you know what? That's funny because I actually have some of these qualities within myself. That's really great. But you know what? There's actually a couple that I don't have. Hmm, what do I see those as something that I would want in my own life? And let me just caveat, I just because this person has qualities that you don't have doesn't mean that you need to adopt them into your life. You need to be your own individual person. And if you have different values, that doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't mean that you have to copycat somebody else. I'm just saying, if there are things that you say, yeah, I think that would be really good to have in my own life, then make that change. You know, I'm not saying that when you jump on a scale that you need to look at it and say, wow, I need to lose weight. Okay. It's just data. However you are is how you are. If you choose to make a change, then make a change. But just because you know information doesn't mean necessarily that you have to make that change. So I'm not pushing that you give up who you are and you become somebody else, because if you've ever listened to me, if you know me personally, I am all about individuality, and I honor you for who you are and what you bring to the table. And there's only one of you in 8 billion people, which makes you exceedingly special. So be you, and don't mirror somebody else. But there are qualities about people. Look, I do this all the time. Sometimes I'm a guest at somebody's house and I see how like nice they are. I stayed at friends' homes, and they've put, the towel out on the bed, and it's the regular towel and the hand towel and the face towel, and then they'll put a little bar of soap. And I make note of that and I say, wow, that's really nice. And when I had a house, I used to do that. Now I don't, and that hasn't crossed my mind in a long time. But I thought that it just made me feel so good that I thought, man, I want to do that when somebody comes to my house. I want them to have that same kind of experience when they stay with me, where, oh, look, there's little chocolate. I think I've even left chocolate on the pillow because I don't know. I like when I'm on a cruise or at a fancy hotel and they leave me chocolate. It's like, oh, that's so nice of you to think about me. So you can see things and, that other people do and adopt them. And that's not giving up you, that's enhancing who you are. So I just want to be really clear that I am not encouraging you to just give up who you are, find somebody else, mirror them. But we can find traits in other people that we say, wow, I really like that. We can also find traits in other people that we say, not so much. I'm going to actually avoid that because I saw how that went down for that person and it didn't go over well. So I'm going to learn from that person's mistake. Why not learn from each other? We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just see what you like, what you don't like from other people. And let me add, you may be looking at other people that you admire and say, wow, these are the values that they have. Maybe also take a look at people that you didn't admire and think about the traits that they had, and okay, maybe those are some things that I should avoid, right? But maybe also look for some of the good qualities so that that person, you can have a good memory of them. That's how we turn things around, is always looking for the good. So your values. So start to think about things in your past and what are the values that you saw a common theme throughout your life, throughout interacting with people and how you act and whatnot. Look at your mentors and see how they've responded in situations, and maybe also people that you kind of scratched your head about and you said, I don't know. That person doesn't lead by integrity, and I just never really trusted that person because of it. So I really want to apply integrity to my life because I know how important it is. If you don't have integrity, just like that person, it's hard to get trust. And so integrity and trust are two of the things that I value. So yeah. So that's how we can start to look around us to get data about us. So that is what I would encourage you to do. We want to have this list. And so we know as things are coming in our life that we can, oh, wow, this is how I should respond with integrity, with trust. Oh, well, I value relationships. It comes down to, you could be in a meeting with somebody and you may say, okay, do I end the conversation? Do I end it? Do I say, oh, hey, you know what? I got to go. My next meeting's about to start. Or do you say, hey, I'm going to be late to my next meeting because I value the conversation that we're having? Your values are going to dictate how you respond. So start to become clear about them, because your values are you. They are your guiding light. They're your guiding principles that are helping you all throughout the day. So that is what I want to encourage you today, is just to find a list of values and think about which ones resonate with you. Come up with your top 10, then come up with your top 3. And then as you are going throughout your day, maybe put them on a list, on a piece of paper. And as you're going throughout your day, think about which principles you're applying to those situations, and just to become aware. When we have that awareness, when we have that when we're cognizant of when things are happening at the time that they're happening, this is when we have power. We have true power, because if we are aware when things are happening in the moment that they're happening, then we can choose to say, hold on, is this how I want it to be or not? I say all the time, is life happening to you or are you happening to life? And if you are not aware when things are happening, then life is happening to you. Life is just happening. You're not even paying attention. You're not questioning it. You're not saying, hey, is this how I should respond? Is this how I want to be? You're just going along with emotions. And it's so easy for us to get into the motion of life. It's like when you're driving and you're like, how did I even get here? I just got in the car and I drove. That's us going through life so many times. So that is my homework for you today. I want you to think about the values and think about your top 10 list and then your top 3. And then as you go out in the world today, think about where they apply. So that is it for today. We will be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. Super excited. So go out, be powerful, be the person that you want to be. Think about the values that you see in your life. And they also reflect the person that you want other people to see you as, just FYI, and go be that person. So I will see you here, same time, same place tomorrow. Have a beautiful, powerful day. Cheers.